What is going on, you wonderful thought-having people you? I'm Jake from Give It Thought, and I wanted to talk about something a little bit topical today that may seem fairly opportunistic, and that's fine if you see it that way, but I have a point to make, I promise. So at the risk of losing a lot of viewers, let's just get right into it. Donald Trump was just elected to be the 45th president of the United States. If that's news to you, then I am astonished by your ability to completely close yourself off to the outside world. Really, congratulations on that. But in all seriousness, his presidency will affect every person in the US. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, and maybe even beyond that to some extent. But this is a gaming news channel, so what could President-elect Trump possibly have to do with anything I talk about? Well, not much to be honest, but there are some things that connect him with video games. And the first thing is, he has one. Yes, Donald J. Trump has a video game called Donald Trump Real Estate Tycoon that he actually lent his voice to. It was released all the way back in 2002, but I think you can still find copies on Amazon. It's funny because this was released in the time when professional athletes were putting their names on games, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I guess Trump thought he could cash in on that fad. And on the other side of the coin, Trump has been vocal in the past about his disdain of violent video games. Back in 2012, Trump blew into his Twitter horn and released this: "Video game violence and glorification must be stopped. It is creating monsters." This is a popular tweet that many of you have probably seen before. And to be fair, this was right after the horrific shooting that took place at Sandy Hook, where 20 young students and 6 members of the school staff were killed. I say that because it is easy to have a knee-jerk reaction like that. But while the shooter, and I say shooter because I refuse to utter his name, but while he had some what you would call violent video games in his collection, reportedly his favorite was Dance Dance Revolution. So, yeah, point made, I guess. But let's get back to that tweet for a second. He said, video game violence and glorification. So first, let's establish what that means exactly. What is video game violence? And how is it glorified? Well, that is pretty obvious to anyone who has played a game where the objective is to kill another person. You kill them, that's violence. And then you get to the next level, or your character gains a level. That's glorification. So we cannot argue that it does not exist. But what we can argue is that it is not creating monsters. Every single person who has ever watched the evening news or read a newspaper, wait, no one does that anymore? Okay, anyone who has ever been to a news website. Closer? Alright. Anyone who regularly gets tweet notifications from the news has likely read a headline that says, video games are associated with violent behavior. At this point, it is old news. But just in case, I'll read you the results from a 2015 study done by the American Psychological Association that linked video game playing to aggression. This study found that a consistent relation between violent video game use exists between increases in aggressive behavior, aggressive cognitions, and aggressive affect, and decreases in pro-social behavior, empathy, and sensitivity to aggression. So the concrete is dried, as they say. Yeah, no one says that. But you know what else has been linked to higher aggression? Public schools, daycare, television, childhood neglect, lead in your system, cholesterol medicine, and even cat poop. And the list goes on. So is Donald Trump right about video games causing violence? Maybe. But he is not seeing the whole picture. Even the study that I referenced that found the link between video games and aggression says, no single risk factor consistently leads a person to act aggressively or violently. Rather, it is the accumulation of risk factors that tends to lead to aggressive or violent behavior. So admittedly, video games may have their part in that equation, but there are so many other problems that need taking care of first. Especially that cat poop one. That's a real danger. So the question is now, will Trump impact video games in any way? Probably not. Established powers have had quarrels with art since time immemorial. It's not going away anytime soon. The world shifts and we are at the mercy of it. I'm about to get kind of personal here, so I hope it does not turn anyone off. Since Trump was elected, I have not been able to get this quote from a video game out of my head, and that is, "I see your mouth is as vulgar as your face." No, hold on a second. That's Yangus from Dragon Quest VIII. Sorry, this is the one I meant. We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment. And when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly. So whether you're on one side or the other, some time will come in your life where you feel threatened by change that is happening around you. And for a lot of people, that is right now. The best thing to do is not to change with it. No, that would be assimilation. What you should do is live on either in spite of it or because of it. Life is too precious to ignore in times of change like this. Oh, and we really need to do something about that cat poop thing. That is disgusting. But I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Hit that like button for me, and if you're new here, why not subscribe? I put out a new video every single day, and it is usually news videos, but today I took a break and wanted to talk about something that people have not been able to shut up about. Me included, apparently. So tomorrow we'll be back to regular schedule. But I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember, give thought to everything.